I'm Cyril McGuinness and this is my daughter Hanna McGuinness, and we're down from Dublin today, and Hanna is a novice plough lady, and she's ploughing today in the trailer class.
Yes.
And is this your first ever time to do ploughing?
No, this is my 5th match now, but I've only started at Christmas time. Yes. I'm loving it so far.
So you have a bit of land, you don't farm anymore?
No.
So you have a bit of land to work on?
Well, we friends of ours give us land to practice on. I was a farmer years ago, but I'm now a haulier, and Hannah's going to follow us into the business, and she'll be driving trucks shortly, I presume.
Very good.
That's the plan.
Hannah, what drew you to starting the ploughing this year?
I've began working on a farm the past year and I love it, and I do modern ploughing, but I see my dad doing vintage ploughing, and my dad's gone and represented the Ireland at the Europeans a few years ago. It just really inspired me to get started, and Dad can teach me a lot, so I might
It's
as
very
well.
rare to talk to a dub who's a farmer and keen on farming medicine, because most of the time they don't like the countryside.
No,
it's too far
I know.
away from modernity, as it were. But obviously you're exceptions.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
love
are.
it.
Absolutely.
I've been lucky enough to represent Ireland at the World Ploughing. It was a great honour to do that, and I've also represented Ireland at the Europeans in Belgium, and I've ploughed the 32 counties. So we want Hannah now to follow in the footsteps and plough as many counties as possible. So we're trying to get in as many matches for her and try and build up the practice.
What's your impression then of today's ploughing match? You've seen a bit, I saw you there.
The ground is quite good. It varies. Some of the ground is crumbly, some of it is a little bit slabby, but it's going to present challenges for everyone. But the only thing about it is we're working against tram lines, so the same obstacles are going to they're going to be the same for each competitor, so it'll make it very fair, and it'll be the look of the draw at the end of the day. You can hit a stone and put you off, and it can ruin your finish or it can ruin your start, but there'll be plenty of opportunity to catch up.
I just met a couple there that were from Poland. Would they have ploughing championships in Poland?
Yes.
So it's just as strong in Poland.
It is, yes.
And in most European countries.
It would be probably not as strong as here in Ireland. In Ireland, we've people like Dan Donnelly and John Whelan, Eamon Tracy. I think Eamon has won the World Championship 6 times. I think four times on the trot. So in ploughing circles, I suppose the Irish are the superstars of Europe, and
And why is that? Is it where we live, the nature of the climate and the soil?
I think it's our ploughing season. If you look at countries like Sweden, there could be only maybe 8 weeks that you get to plough during the season, whereas here, we're ploughing from the end of August to get in practice for our nationals right up until the Maybank holiday. So we've a massive season. Like you can do 30 plus matches here in Ireland, whereas in some of the Nordic countries you might only get to do 3-4 matches. So
We're
practice.
But then comparing to England, or Britain, why would we be more superstars than they are?
I think it could be a cultural thing in a sense, with our roots with farming, and also I think that a lot of men here have the same experience that I'm getting, where they were taught by their fathers, vintage ploughing.
And I wonder, would it have anything to do with them? Like in England, farming is more of a business. It's more of a big business.
Yes, exactly. There's a
Yeah.
lot of rural farms here that still survive. Plough itself is a ransom plough, and it is a trail plough. So when you want to begin ploughing, you trip this, which means you pull it from the plough and the plough will go down. There's a few different things that you have to do. There's a skimmer, and when you're doing your opening split, you take this off. You learn all of this in time, as I have, and still am learning thanks to my dad. There's a wheel, and when I want to move the plough up and down the field, I'll move this down so that way I can transport the plough safely. When I am ploughing, I'll lift this up because we don't want this going down the field. There's a few different things that you have to keep in mind when ploughing, your measurements being one of them. And some men like to mark their measurements out so you can remember what way to lengthen or shorten your neck. Now, for me, I like to keep my neck at 18 centimeters when I'm first doing my opening split. I've learned all of these measurements from my dad, and these are things that you will learn over time and that my dad has taught me. So this Renault is my dad's, and it's over 70 years old. So it's older. It's the same age as me and my dad combined, and it's actually fairly straightforward. Of course, it's a manual gearbox. It is very straightforward, just the usual, the clutch, the left brake, the right brake, and the throttle, of course. This is actually the first tractor that I ploughed in that made me decide that I wanted to take up ploughing as a sport. I've only started ploughing this Christmas, so just at the start of the new year, 2025, and this tractor was a tractor that convinced me to start ploughing. If you'd like to plough in the trail class like me, you'd be driving a tractor around a similar age as my one. They're all very straightforward. Some of them have a high box and a low box. This one is just a typical manual gearbox. Very, very straightforward.